Hello everyone, welcome back. I got in some Tula hollow points, 135 grain. Okay, now the nice thing about this is for $43 you get 200 rounds. I mean, I just made a note of that so I can remember to talk to you guys about it. So, like usually when you're buying hollow points, you only get like 20 in a box, and it costs like $40 or something for just like 20 rounds, or $25 maybe for 20 rounds or something like that. I don't know. But this is, you get 200 rounds for $43, and they're like available as of today. I went over to AmmoSeek's site, and you can actually order these today. You just gotta look at your shipping, because different sites have different shipping costs. And you get a box of 50. You're not getting 20. You're getting 50 in a box. So it's like what, $11 per box? So for a hollow point, it has a very sharp angle, and I think that might actually help better with the feeding, having that sharp angle. I have fired a couple of shots just to make sure that they'll work in my guns, and they do. But I want to right now I'm going to run them through the chronograph and basically see what kind of velocities, how much energy are we getting out of this. Now, the regular Tula, the steel case, it's actually at the higher end of target ammunition energy. I usually get about 350 foot-pounds of energy out of the regular Tula steel case, and a lot of times, like I'll check Winchester or Federal, and they're usually out of a Glock 17. They're coming in at like 320 or something, right? So Tula steel case comes in at 350 out of a Glock 17. So today we're gonna see what this 9mm Tula hollow point does. Now, to me, like I normally, here, let me show you guys. Let me put this down. On my regular everyday carry, I just carry regular full metal jacket. And the reason why I've always carried full metal jacket, okay, is because it doesn't make sense to me to, like, because hollow points are usually very expensive. Most people practice with target ammo, but only will use hollow points for their carry, right? So they really don't get too much time actually shooting those hollow points. And to me, that doesn't make sense. Whatever I train with is what I carry in my gun. Okay. For one thing, like I got my carry here, I've got no problem pulling this out and like immediately start shooting. I don't do like, hey, wait, I gotta change the ammunition in my gun. So 99.999% of the time, all I'm doing with my guns is just training, right? So it doesn't make sense to just keep switching back and forth. I use one type of ammunition for everything. But this Tula hollow points, they're cheap enough that somebody could actually, if it turns out to be good ammunition, you could actually train with this ammo and also carry it. Okay. So first thing, let's see how much energy we're getting out of this. I got the chronograph set up over here. I gotta tell you guys, these things look really cool, man. I love how they're like pointy. It's gotten like it's very interesting. Now, I'm also going to try and do an expansion test, but I'll do that in a different segment. And we can see if we can get these to expand through water, through gallon jugs. So I got 5 rounds in here. So let's try and get some velocity. Now, this is a Glock 17. We're also going to do this through a Glock 43. So I get myself into the right position here, so the chronograph will give me a good read. That's one of the things I hate about chronographs. Is the sun's gotta be hitting it just the right way. Turn this off. Try a different angle. I've been wanting to, like, I haven't seen the sun for like almost 2 weeks here in the wintertime. Try it from this angle here. No, that one, no read. So at least we got 3 readings out of that. These chronographs are very picky about like how the sun is hitting the collectors on top, the light sensors. I don't even try to do this on the cloudy days. Okay. We got 5 readings out of a Glock 17. So yeah, the problem that I have in the wintertime, it's like the sun is never overhead, right? Where I'm here in Northeast PA, like even though right now I think it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the sun is basically at that angle. So whatever this angle is, about, I don't know, maybe 40 degrees, the sun never gets overhead. It stays at like that angle the whole day. So I never have the light center, the light coming straight down on this. It's always hitting this at an angle, and it's hard to get a good read on this. So let's sort these numbers. So we have a low of 865. A high of 909, an average of 889. So one reading, I'm going to also record the individual readings in case I ever need to come back to it. We got 866, 894, 909, 896, and 882, 883. Okay, so our average out of a Glock 17 was 889 feet per second with the 135 grain bullet. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing now with a Glock 43. Okay. And I'll make a note of that, and then I'll come back and I'll do the calculations, and we'll look at that. But if you guys want, you can do the formula yourselves, right? You take the velocity I just gave you, you square it, you multiply it by the mass, which is 135, and then you divide it by the conversion factor, 450, 240, okay? 450, 240 divided by that conversion factor, and that'll give you guys the energy. Let me pause this, and I will now get the Glock 43. Alright, so we're now run it through the Glock 43 and see what kind of energy, or velocity and energy we get. I can tell you guys, shooting it out of the Glock 17, the recoil, I mean, it felt like target ammo, right? So it definitely didn't feel like a plus P. It doesn't say that it's a plus P, but it definitely, the recoil definitely felt on the light side. Okay, so we'll see how it feels now out of the Glock 43. But you know, that's also, here's the thing, you can't just go by your feelings, so that's why I'm actually running the chronograph so that we can also see what it's actually doing. First, let me double check the camera, make sure that's running. Yeah, camera running. Yeah, actually, let me move it a little bit. So this angle here seems to favor getting a better read. The sun is reflecting better on the whatever the sensor. Turn it on. I turned it off to reset it. Readings. They put a 620 here just in case, but we're not going to need it. I didn't expect to get all 5 readings. Alright, so I'll pull out the numbers in case you guys want to. Now with the Glock 43. Low was 881. High was 919. Average 895. So here's the thing. We actually got a higher energy by 6 feet per second on the Glock 43. Why? I mean, I would just chalk that up to bullet. I mean, the Glock 43 slightly shorter barrel should always be a little bit slower, but you know, sometimes things work out like that. So yeah, we actually got a slightly higher velocity. What most likely happened was maybe 1 or 2 of the other rounds were just like randomly a little, you know, undercharged. So because basically we're looking at averages. I mean, they don't, when they load this ammunition, I mean, they don't like use a tickler or something. It's dumped into the case by a machine. So yeah, for whatever reason, we got a higher average velocity with the Glock 43. So that's one of the things, like when you're trying to do like this type of work, it's like you're always coming up with these. Sometimes you just get information that's like it's not what it's supposed to be, but that's how it is. All right, I'm gonna do the individual ones now. So we have. So the first one is 880, 889, 907, 881, 919, 882. Alright, so those are the numbers. I'm gonna pause the camera and I'm gonna actually calculate the energy on these two. Alright, so we got 2, so that should give us a good idea of where these are. So for the 135 grain bullet. Guys, I'm extremely disappointed in the energy, man. The Glock 17, okay, average 889 on 135 grain bullets. Energy 237, whereas Tula steel case gives me like 350. Okay, momentum 17.19. That's on the Glock 17. On the Glock 43, right? Average velocity 895. This gave us a little bit more energy of 240. 240 is like what I get like out of a 38 special. Momentum 17.26. This totally sucks. I mean, I want to do this. Since the gun that I was using for the Glock 17, I put it away. It kind of has a high round count. I said, hey, you know what? Because it basically has a high round count, although I doubt that barrel has more than 8,000 rounds on it. I said, let me pull out a different Glock 17, which I think has a lower round count on it. Let's run through it again, just so that we're sure, okay? One more time. We're gonna run another 5 rounds through a different Glock 17. I'm gonna use this gun over here that matches my jacket. Okay, make sure my camera's running. Yeah, camera running. Gun's empty. Yeah, I'm really disappointed. I mean, like I said, when I shot it, the energy felt like the recoil felt extremely low on these bullets. Extremely low, the recoil. I see like I said, that first gun had something like 8,000 plus rounds on that barrel, so you know, and the recoil spring. I think that's the reason why it was even cycling. I think that a lot of guns are not going to cycle with this ammunition, just because the recoil is the energy is so low. So that's one of the things you got to watch out with this Tula. This magazine's got like 10,000 rounds on it. If you got a ETS, I use these because they're clear, and when I train people, they can see what's in there. And I mean, yeah, they do wear down, but it's more of a time saver for me, for people to take a quick look at this and know what they got in their magazine. So that actually saves me more time. So that's why I use these clear ETS ones. Yeah, I think with the 250 foot-pounds of energy that I'm recording, I don't think this is going to cycle new guns. I mean, I don't know. I mean, do I have a new one? Yeah, I think I have a couple of. Let's see, do I have it? Yeah. Let me just, after this, I'll try and find a gun that has like an extremely low round count, and we'll see if it cycles. I only got 4. Well, I can already see the numbers there. They're coming in there about the same place. I'm kind of wondering if like the hollow points are even going to expand with the velocity being so low, right? With the energy being, because the hollow points, first of all, for you guys that don't know, hollow points are designed to expand when they hit water, right? And the body is like 80-90% water, whatever the percentage is. So that's the reason why you can like shoot through a windshield or a car door, and the hollow points don't expand until they actually hit water. Okay. which is different, let's say, than soft points. Because soft points, which have soft lead, yeah, they'll expand when they hit anything. Okay, the velocity on this. Again, this is Glock 17 number 2. So 881 is the low. 924 is the high. Average 906. So number 8, 908, 924, 909, 907, 881. So this is the higher average because the Glock. I didn't do. Actually, let me go crunch the numbers real quick. I'll be right back. Yeah, so I ran the numbers again. The energy got so with this one was running a little bit faster, 906, but not by much. I mean, we got 889 feet per second below the first Glock 17. Then we got 895 the Glock 43, and then we got 906 velocity out of this second Glock 17. So the energy came up to 246, right? So we have energies of 237, 240, 246. I mean, they're in that same area of about 240, you know, like really just struggling to get to 250. I mean, energy-wise, this stuff sucks. I mean, it's got like, you know, I mean, this stuff looks so pretty when you look at it. I don't know why they would go through the trouble of making something so pretty, right? And not give it the right amount of gunpowder. I mean, what a waste. I mean, and here's the thing, the most expensive part of this is probably the brass, right? The brass case. The gunpowder isn't even that, is not the most expensive part of this, right? The metal is probably more expensive than the gunpowder. The primers, all that. I mean, what a waste that they made something, that they made this and just went cheap on the gunpowder. I'm curious if this will cycle a fairly new gun, because like all of these guns are pretty broken in. I mean, they've all got, like even the last one I shot, which I think has a newer barrel, and the Glock 43 has a newer barrel, but they're all like the one I just shot, it's probably got at least 2,000 rounds on it. The Glock 43, I think that barrel has, I mean, that barrel probably only has around 600 rounds on it. So, but that recoil spring has more rounds on it. Let me go get a different gun that I know has a very low round count on it. That's practically new. And I'm surprised that these guns are cycling. And I think the only reason they're cycling is because they're so broken in. But hold on, let me pause this camera. I got a SIG 250. I mean, it's not brand spanking new, but it's got fairly low run count. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in my left hand and shoot it one-handed. Because to me, that's like a realistic type of situation, right? Where you're like grappling, you know, things don't go the way you want. Guns got to work in your offhand, shooting one-handed. Went to lockback. I'm really surprised that with the low velocities and the low energy, but these guns are even locking back. I want to try a different gun that has a low round count. It might, I'm thinking that maybe the fact that it's got a heavier bullet is just because usually that increases the recoil because a heavier bullet takes more. I mean, I'm just trying to understand. Like I'm bewildered that it's cycling the guns when I'm shooting one-handed. All right, so this is a gun that's probably got less than 200 rounds on it. I mean, I built this one, but still, everything's pretty new on this gun. Let's go left offhand, one-handed shooting. Oh, that time we got a failure to feed. Okay, and now a lot of times, now maybe I was holding a little bit loose. I'm gonna hold it a little bit tighter, push into the gun. Push forward into the gun. Went the lock back. That one jam might have been just because I got a little too loose on the gun. Let's try it again. I mean, I am starting to, like shooting one-handed, I am starting to feel a little bit here, but still, I mean, it's still very low recoil. And yeah, this is like brand new gun, brand new recoil spring, brand new slide, less than 200 rounds. So with this gun, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to be getting jammed. Like even with the regular Tula, I know has 350 foot-pounds of energy. Yeah, lock back. So yeah, that time I was leaning a little bit into the gun. No jams. I'm gonna try the Glock 43 again, one-handed. I mean, this is definitely something that I would like test a lot before I started using it, just because the energy is so low. I would test this to make sure it works in your gun. I mean, the good thing is that this stuff is cheap enough that you can shoot a lot and make sure that it works, right? Because again, when most people buy hollow points, it's so expensive that they hardly ever shoot it. So you can't be sure it's going to work in your gun. With this, even though it's underpowered, you can shoot 2,000 rounds of it before you start carrying it. So this is the Glock 43 now. Lock back. All right, shooting at about 10 yards here. But no, actually a little bit more. It's 50 feet from where I'm shooting. So it's like whatever, 35 yards. 12 yards or whatever that is. The stuff works. To my surprise, this shit works. But I don't see a reason why they skipped out on the gunpowder. They should have just, they should have got it up to 350 foot-pounds. Why 250 foot-pounds? It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense. Why skip out on the gunpowder? The stuff does work. Surprisingly, it cycles the guns, even the newer guns that I tried. Now, mind you, I'm a good 230 pounds or so. So when I lean into the gun, I'm putting some weight behind the gun. Somebody that's lighter than me, smaller than me, they might have cycling problems if they're shooting one-handed, leaning it together. So the next question is, will this stuff expand? Does it have enough velocity? Does it have enough energy to expand? The best way to test it is in the gel. I don't have any, and when I tried making gel, it turned out to a mess. And even if you make it, it has to have like the right consistency. So just because you make gel doesn't mean it's like the proper gel. So I'm gonna try testing this in water jugs. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. So let me set that up. Hey everyone, I was just putting away the chronograph and I noticed something very interesting on this table. Okay, so if you look over here, there's like these grains that you see on the table, which I think might be unburned gunpowder. I normally don't see this. Now, I do keep these tables outdoors, but it's wintertime, it's pretty windy, so something this light is usually not going to stay on this table for too long. It's not going to stay overnight. And this is like the first thing I'm shooting. And I see it at this end over here. I don't so much see it on this end over here so much. So I definitely see more towards this end, which was closer to the barrel. So I'm just speculating here. I don't know for sure. I don't know what this is. I think it might be unburnt gunpowder. Not sure. No way of knowing. Let me try putting a flame to it. I'm just curious. Hold on. Let's see if I can gather a whole bunch of this stuff in one area. That's all getting stuck on my hand. Oh, it's not working. Let's see if I put a flame on it. See if this stuff's flammable. Yeah, I think it's flammable. I do see a little bit of a jump. I'm not sure. I don't know what the stuff is. I mean, there's a maybe. I don't know. It might be something in the case that's inert. I mean, it seems like it's burning, but it could be. I mean, there's always a possibility that it's something that fell off the trees or blew off the trees. I just don't know. I just don't know. But it's just, I see it on this end of the table. I don't see it so much on the other end of the table. So that's interesting. All right, everyone, this is going to be the hollow point expansion test. Okay, I've got 7 jugs here full of water. We're only going to get maybe one, maybe 2 shots at this at best, because once I shoot it, I can't reuse the jugs. But I don't expect that it would be able to go through more than 3 of those jugs. 4 max, maybe. I don't know. I mean, personally, I think we probably have a better chance of shooting the table than getting the milk jug, than getting this bowl to expand. But if I shoot straight, we should be able to recover the bullet in one of those jugs. All right, let's give this. So again, this is for shooting this Tula 135 grain hollow point. Okay, these things are good because in the sense that you can get a box of 50 rounds. You can actually, you get this in 50 rounds per box, and you can get 200 for about $43. So they're very economical hollow points. But so far we have found that they are really underpowered. We're getting 250 foot-pounds of energy in this Tula brass, compared to the 350 foot-pounds that I normally get in the Tula steel case. So this is weak shit, man. Anyway, so I got 5 bullets here. Oh, what am I pulling out 5 though? Pull out 2. No, pull out just 1. Cause I gotta reset it afterwards anyway. So 1 bullet. Shit getting wet. I'm gonna put this stuff back here. can get this to expand. Position myself here. Two. 3, 4. I went through 4. Four? No. Went through the 4th one. Is the bullet in there? Ah, there it is. We got it. Woohoo! Holy shit! This motherfucker works! Holy shit, it actually expanded. And it expanded nicely. I'm going to take this into the sunlight so you guys can see it. Hold on. Get off the camera here. So we made it all the way through 4 of these milk jugs, right? You can see the water still coming over here. It went through the 4th one, and then it still had enough power to crack that one. So it came... Yeah, see, it created a dent on... Like, it basically hit the plastic there, and then it cracked it there. So we actually used up 5 water jugs. But look at that. I am surprised, man. I am really surprised that this shit expanded, given how much how low energy this shit is generating. Hold on, let me get the calipers on this. Look at that shit. Let me get this in the sunlight so you can see it from all directions. I'm surprised. First of all, I'm surprised that this shit with the water jugs actually worked to expand the bullet. Here, guys, I put in the calipers. So it's like a point 0.465. Dropped it. Yeah, well, that's where that shit is. Let me go find that bullet because I want it back. Yeah, so this thing is like almost a ½ inch now. I mean, it's just short. I don't want to drop it again, so I'm holding on to this thing. So yeah, I mean, it's obviously not a perfect circle, so depending on where you catch it, see, like right there, it's almost a 0.5 right there. I'm like wholly impressed with the, and actually, look at that, it folded back the flower petals. Try to get out of the shadow. Which way is from? Gotta go from this side. Alright, so let me pause the camera back. Alright guys, so the question now becomes, what are we gonna do with this shit? We got these 135 grade Tula hollow points that are grossly underpowered, right? 250 foot-pounds max. Okay, so it's basically like a 38 special. What are we gonna do with it? Now it does expand, right? We saw the expansion. Both down there. You guys saw the expansion. So who is this? What's this good for? It's definitely good for women, like for women that want a hollow point that carry a hollow point that expands, because a lot of times with the standard hollow points, they're like usually like plus P loads, and women don't shoot them great. Now they'd have to actually try it in the gun because they're not going to hold it as strong as I am. But if it will cycle reliably in their carry gun, this is probably a good choice for women to use because it expands and it's like at like 38 special power. So this is a hollow point that women can manage. Okay, now I'd have to like shoot like at least 2,000 rounds of this stuff to have confidence in it. But clearly expands, and it expands well. And I would definitely do more tests with it if I was going to carry this stuff. But another possibility as far as what can we do with this, this stuff is subsonic, right? So we got 890 feet per second. Now, out of a 16-inch rifle, right, I can usually shoot 115 grains out of it, and it's usually quite enough, okay? It's not fun to shoot, but it's not like it doesn't sting your ears. Normally I wear ear protection, but I want to try, I have a whole bunch of different guns here. 16-inch barrel, 10-inch barrel, Glock 17, Glock 43. I'm going to try and shoot this without ear protection, okay, one at a time, and see how far down the line I can go before it just becomes uncomfortable, okay? So we're not putting the ear protection on, we're just going to do one round. So we're going to start off with the 16-inch barrel, no ear protection. Obviously I got my glasses on, and we don't have the eye protection. So let's take a shot with this. Okay, easy peasy, right? That a lawnmower is probably louder than that. Okay. So that, I mean, definitely quieter than 115 grains out of that gun, because that I could shoot all day. I mean, there's things that you want that like if you're hammering a nail, that's louder than that gun right there. Okay. Now usually, because I can kind of shoot that, even though I don't with 115 grains. But when I go down to the 10-inch barrel, it's usually, it stings. Let's see if this stings. It's just a sting. Right, so we're shooting this Tula 135 grain subsonic out of the 10-inch barrel. Definitely louder, without a question louder. This was probably as loud as the, if I shoot 115 grains out of the 16-inch barrel, okay? So definitely louder. Let's try the 17. I know I'm not gonna like that, but this is not something I'm gonna do every day. But I mean, it is subsonic, even out of, because we ran it through the chronograph. It's gonna be loud, but subsonic. Okay. I mean, yeah, I felt it a little bit. Subsonic, like that. This is a good choice. Like if you know, this might be a reason to carry this ammunition, because it's not going to hurt your eardrums, okay? Because it's subsonic. Let's try the Glock 43. Now, it's actually, the speed's about the same. To my surprise, the velocity is the same. There was no major velocity change between the Glock 17 and Glock 43. But let's give it a shot. But yeah, I got no ringing in my ears, nothing like that. Let's try the Glock 43. Okay, that was louder. Dude, I felt it a little bit. No ringing, but you could definitely feel a little bit more pressure in the ears. So this is a good reason to carry this ammunition, because, or possibly to use it for self-defense, because it's not going to hurt your ears. You know, like now, obviously, if you shoot this inside your house, the noise is going to echo back on you, and it is going to be louder. But it's not, your ears aren't going to be, I don't think your ears are going to be ringing. You'll still be able to communicate with other family members. When the police show up, you know, and they say, hey, police, you know, open up. You'll know that it's the police, right? And you don't show up at the door with a gun, right? So this is a good reason. This is a use that I see for this ammunition. I see it as subsonic, no ear protection ammunition. So those are my thoughts on it. I mean, I'm gonna think about this some more, and down the road we'll talk about it again. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Talk to y'all soon. Hey guys, one more thing I want to show you. I did recover some of the brass and just checked it for anything out of the ordinary. And no, I mean, there isn't. I mean, the only reason I did this is because anytime you're shooting like a new type of ammunition, you want to check your brass, check for signs of overpressure, like such as the you know, the primer getting punched out or anything. So that all looks good. So what I'm going to do now, since these say Tula on them and the brass, I got that bullet that we shot earlier. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick it there just for storage like that, in case I need to refer that back to this at some point. Okay, let me see. This one over here looks like I might have stepped on it. It's a little bent. Let me see if the bent one will just hold it a little bit better. There you go. Okay. So I'm just going to store this in case we ever want to refer back to this. And you can see how much it's expanded versus the case. Hey everyone, I wanted to give you some afterthoughts on this Tula 9mm 135 grain hollow point. Okay, so we shot it through the water jugs, and we saw that this expands. Okay, and I think it went through what, 4 water jugs at least, 4 water jugs, which is obviously going to be thicker than a man. Okay,